Hello, good people. Welcome back into another episode of Dr. Darnise's House of Religion, Magic, and Conjure. So glad to have you in with me. Thanks for growing the channel. We are continuing to invite new people, and so welcome. Welcome. Thanks for liking, sharing, supporting. I appreciate you. Well, I wanted to come on during October because it is Hoodoo Heritage Month. Did you know that? Hoodoo actually has a month, an acknowledgement month to acknowledge this piece of African and African American spirituality. So, of course, I could not let that get by me without saying a few words about it. And, mostly in terms of my personal spiritual practice, I am what I call a New Thought Hoodooist. And I've said that many times, and I keep saying I'm going to, do some teaching specifically about New Thought. But I get so busy, y'all. Um, anyway, let's talk about a little hoodoo. We'll come back to the New Thought later. Well, a couple things I want to share. One is I'm writing a formal piece about hoodoo, and um, I thought, you know what, I'm going to just share what I was writing because I was in the midst of writing. I was like, let me make this a video, so you'll hear me talk about it in a really formal way. But this is the way academics write, y'all. So, what is hoodoo? If you just dropping in and you're saying, I don't even know what hoodoo is, so let me read to you what I wrote it is, and then we'll talk about it, of course. Hoodoo is an esoteric system that includes folk herbal medicine and magical practices understood by African American practitioners as tools of survival and empowerment used to control, manipulate, and manage the natural world and other external circumstances that seem otherwise outside of one's control. Hoodoo, this African American folk spirituality, is also known as conjure or root work, and it holds its own cosmology, divination systems, and healing practices composed of the remains of various African spiritualities, regional Native American practices, and even Euro-American Appalachian folk magic systems. Hoodoo originated with remaining with the reimagining of existential realities and possibilities of self mastery while yet being enslaved in the U.S., especially in the low country regions of Georgia, South Carolina, and northern Florida. This region is also particularly important as it is a unique repository of African retention still embodied by the Gullah Geechee culture of the earliest African Americans to be enslaved and freed there. These African American Gullah Geechee people faced the loss of their culture and lands due to aggressive gentrification and resort development in the Sea Island Hilton Head region. So, enough of that reading. But that's what we do as academics. We write like that, we publish it like that, we give formal conference papers, and it sounds something like that. My students in my classroom always say, well, who would want to listen to that? Y'all just get together and just read papers like that. Yes, we do. That's how we share information, kind of live, or how we write information in academic journals or books. But I make this channel, to be accessible to people not necessarily academics. So what does all that mean? Hoodoo is an African American folk spiritual practice that is comprised of African spiritualities and mixed, right? So those African people who were brought here and they were in the low country region of South Carolina and Georgia and northern Florida, of course, they created their own formulations of spiritualities because that's what we do. Folk traditions, that's something that everybody does. Every culture mixes their culture and their religion. So there's no such thing as a pure religion. There's always a cultural aspect to it. Now, for African Americans, when we try to do that, I shouldn't say when we try to do that, when we do that, we get a whole lot of pushback from people as if our culture is not worthy of mixing, right? Even from our own other African American people who are Christian who would tell us that we cannot practice our African spiritual practices because they're demonic and evil. I'm also writing a piece about that. As I said, this summer and into the fall has been really busy for me in terms of being pulled into conversations and writing different pieces. about these things, because we're obviously in 2020 going through a major spiritual shift, a major spiritual growth pattern. And part of that is African people worldwide, African American people are are asking different kinds of questions and seeking spiritual traditions, spiritual answers outside of traditional religions like Christianity or Islam or Judaism or whatever, the institutional religion. And so, you know what I'm about here. We will not lose our culture. We will not, forget our culture, not on my watch, right? Our culture is worthy to be lifted up just as anyone else's. So, the Hoodoo tradition is something that I really focus on in my academic work and in my personal practices. So that's how I come on here and talk about different candles and crystals and things like that, because I'm plugged into the practices of our ancestors who knew what herbs to use, what elements from the natural world to use in order to control, manipulate, manage their everyday circumstances, right? I mean, there were brutal circumstances, and yet they managed to survive. And I always say, we are literally our ancestors. We have their DNA, we have their blood and their bone and their flesh, and so we cannot forget them. Um, so what other thing I wanted to mention during this Hoodoo Heritage Month is a couple things that I have going on. So like I said, I don't usually share my own personal practices, but I'm going to just give you a little tiny peek at something that I keep. I did a video about a honey jar, and you can find that video here among all of the videos that I've made. A honey jar, and it is a practice of using a jar spell, if you will, to sweeten a situation to one's own advantage, right? So people get scared of actual rituals and spell work because they say, oh, it's bad or it's somehow evil. But really, it can just be used to empower yourself, to sweeten a situation for yourself. That's why it's a honey jar, because it's to sweeten. It's to make a situation or a person literally sweet on you. So for example, if you're going to go on a job interview, you might sweeten the situation for yourself or whatever you might want to use it for. So in that video, I talked about, what you would do. So I'm going to give you just a little tiny sneak peek of mine. I'm not going to, yeah. I've got some crystals on top of it. I've got a piece of citrine, I've got a piece of pyrite, and I have a green aventurine. All of those crystals are essentially for abundance. And yeah, they are for abundance. And so I keep and you can see it's got wax on it because I burn a candle on top of it. And, sometimes the wax spills over, which is all good because I'm never opening this. I'm never opening it. So initially what I did was put some honey in here with gosh, it's been so long, all kinds of sweet things, honey, sugar, sweet candied pecans. I don't even know what all is in here, to tell you the truth, anymore. Cinnamon. I'm trying to see what this herbal mix is. I made an herbal mix and I put it in here. And so I don't necessarily know exactly what it is anymore, but I can kind of see it suspended in the honey. But really, it doesn't even matter because our ancestors used what they had on hand. And so when people get carried away, talking about what you have to have, like some people will spend a whole lot of money, and especially on here on YouTube, people doing different things, and they'll, oh, well, I got this and I got this and I got that and I got this. But Hoodoo is a practice that was based on what people had on hand. So what did you have if you were in Georgia, South Carolina, Northern Florida? You use what you had naturally. So the things that are sweet, and you put that in a jar, and you might want to write, you definitely write a petition paper, which is the names of people. So if you know the person you're going to interview with, or the names of people you want to be sweet on you. You then write a petition and then you put it in that and you seal it up forever. Because why would you want the situation to not be sweet for you, not be advantageous for you? So that's just a little sneak peek. I don't share that often because I definitely believe that, when you talk about your work, you can disperse the energies around it. And, people who really do stuff, they don't talk about their stuff that they do. I mean, sometimes, people on here on YouTube are showing for demonstration purposes. That's fine. It's a how to kind of video. But, if it's your own thing, then you wouldn't want to tell everybody what you're doing. You want to keep the energies focused. So that's why I don't really do that a lot. And then, secondly, before this video gets too long, I just want to mention again this book, Hoodoo Tarot by Tayana Mcquiller, and this set of, really it's a companion book to her hoodoo deck. Oops, dropping them, y'all. Means I need to shuffle them, I guess. But the reason I'm bringing them up here, because I believe I know I've mentioned these before, made a video, all kinds of things about them. These are getting hard to find, is my point. And during Hoodoo Heritage Month, you might want to treat yourself and go to Amazon and get them. She has already sold through a few times. I've been in conversation with her, and because I'm like, girl, we need more. And so you might want to get yourself a deck because they're getting harder to find, and she has to work with her publisher to get more available. So right now they are available on Amazon and directly through her publisher, and I forgot that website address, so try Amazon. But I do want y'all to know that I'm going to do a giveaway, and I'm going to give away this deck. Not this one because it's mine, but plus, why would you want mine? I am going to do a giveaway, not today, not right now, but hopefully before the end of October, before the end of Hoodoo Heritage Month. So what I'm going to need y'all to do in order to kind of like let me know you're interested is go to my Instagram page at Dr. Darnise, of course. Go to my Instagram and follow me there and put in the comments, send me a Hoodoo Tarot deck. Send me a Hoodoo Tarot deck. And I will pick from people there randomly. You can also put it here in the comments on YouTube, but it will only count if you are on Instagram and if you follow me. So, and also I'd like to say on Instagram, I'm starting to do more there and put things that are more related to Black women's spirituality. So you're going to see, as I mentioned, I've been refreshing my website, and I'm really going to do some programs, some teaching, some courses speaking to the spiritual lives of Black women. I also do some limited personal consultation and ritual work with people. But y'all, I don't have time like that as much as I used to, but I want to make myself available, as best I can. So the one-on-one work, I have to say, that's really exclusive one-on-one coaching with me, and people, it's not free. And so my courses that I offer are also not free, but people tend to find those more accessible, more affordable, and perennial, meaning you have it, you can go at your own pace. They're recorded online classes. So that's all coming up, into the new year. So I've got several programs that I'm working on that'll roll over into the new year. And so you might just want to get on the wait list for those. So you could put in the comments here, waitlist me for the new classes. So I gave you some homework to do, like I give my university students. Homework, 1, If you want to be waitlisted for the new courses coming in 2021, or you're interested in one-on-one ritual kind of consultation, if you want to be in the running for the Hoodoo deck, it's beautiful, y'all. And as I said, getting harder and harder to find, then go to my Instagram. Anyway, even if you're not so interested in the Hoodoo deck, or you already have it, follow me on Instagram. I would appreciate it. So I'm going to wrap this up. And that's it. Bye for now.